Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Boston Straight Shooters. I'm your host for this evening, Steve, aka Negative Ned. Uh, this is the show we talk about Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, and Red Sox. We're going to get you all caught up to speed on what the goings on are over the past week or so. Uh, Frank is away on business, so we'll try and do our best to hold the fort down as usual. And let me get started by posting the link so you guys can join. And hopefully everyone's doing well. I would say after the Patriots ass whooping Friday night, that majority of everybody should be in a pretty good mood. Here we go. What about Danny wants to know, what about the Revolution? What about them? We don't talk about soccer here unless they win a championship. I'm not going to talk about them. They don't. I don't follow soccer. I don't watch it. It's boring. And I'm sorry, I can't do it. If you have anything you want to add, Danny, be my guest. If you watch soccer, chime in and, whatever. I have seen soccer. I have seen soccer. I have seen, some of the players, the Revolution and whatnot here and there. I've been to a game. It's better to go in person, but it's still not my cup of tea. So we're going to skip that. And we're going to get things kicked off now. We're going to talk about the Celtics first. There was a little bit of news with them. The owner, Bill Chisholm, the sale has finally been approved by the NBA Board of Governors. And so if he hasn't exactly already, he will be taking over the reins with his 51% of the team, him and his group. And so in order to make that happen, and I'm guessing this is part of the reason for the delay, is that it was announced at the beginning of the sale that Wick Grossbeck was going to stay on as the governor until 2028. But it looks like Bill Chisholm's going to be the governor, and Wick Grossbeck is going to be the alternate governor and CEO. And so it sounds like there's a technicality with the league. The league rules make it so that Wick can't stay on as the acting governor, which, according to Bill Chisholm, those guys are still going to work hand in hand together. So I don't see it as a huge change. I think it's just, legalities and technicalities and stuff, stupid nonsense, that they got to do in order for things to go through. So the sale is final, and $6.1 billion at this particular point is the largest ever for an American professional sports team. Now, the reason I say for now is because the Lakers were sold for $10 billion, and so at some point the Celtics won't have the top team as far as being sold. So, brace yourself for that at some point coming forward. But all systems go. I mean, I think that with the moves that they've made, it's pretty obvious that they're going to get under these aprons and try and avoid as much of the luxury tax as they can, and smartly so. You only have a couple year window before you really start getting into a thing where you start losing draft picks. And I'm not going to rehash all that here because we kind of went over it already a little bit. It's too much to try to dissect, but we'll see. I still don't know if there are any more moves pending from Bombshell Brad, as I call him, Brad Stevens, the GM. I have a funny feeling there may be one more move to alleviate some more salary, but that remains to be seen. And the next thing with the Celtics is a story that really caught my eye and surprised the heck out of me. And forgive me here for a second. I should have had this. All right, so we had that. We need this. Kristaps Porzingis wants to join the UFC upon his retirement. And I saw that and I'm like, he can't stay healthy for a basketball game. How is he going to win one of these fights? He's got bad knees. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, yeah, he's tall, but a lot of these, I don't watch a lot of UFC, but the ones I've watched, most of them are them grappling on the ground, getting choke held out, or some other like an arm bar or something that, some other move that makes them quit, or the ref to stop it. And so I don't know. I mean, I'll put it this way: if he does join it, I definitely watch. Because I think it would be fascinating to watch a guy that's 7 feet tall, see what he could do against, smaller height-wise guys. So I don't know. He says that, the MMA is a sport that's close to his heart. It's number one in terms of viewing. He said that everything is still in process. He said, I've tried my hand at MMA, but I promised the clubs I represented that I wouldn't join until after my career's over. Well, that's probably a pretty smart move because, you're making $30 million playing basketball, and then you go and do that and, break a leg or break an arm or something happens, and you're not going to get $30 million in the UFC, I don't think. So it's kind of foolish to listen, there's two sport athletes like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders that play football and basketball. And then there's guys that, want to go in a squared circle or octagon, and try to take on, guys that are basically killers. I mean, that's not. Listen, stick with the NBA, big guy. I want to see you healthy in the NBA. I don't want to see you, with casts on a leg or an arm before your basketball career is over. So that's probably a pretty smart thing for you to do. There have been. And I did not know this because like I said, I don't watch UFC, but Golden State Warriors point guard Nate Robinson joined and lost to Jake Paul. And I do know that Brock Lesnar from the WWE went there for probably a good 4 or 5 years. I looked up his record. He was 5-3 between 2007 and 2011. They went back in 2016 for one more match, and he won, but then it became a no contest because he failed a drug test. So his record is 5-3-1. And then, he went back to WWE, and I think he's coming back again. And he's a guy, again, two-sport athlete. He played football. He did try out for Minnesota Vikings, but he wasn't doing UFC at the same time. I mean, that's, especially if you're playing football. I mean, listen, basketball, it's not as physical or as rough. But if you're a football player and you're trying to do UFC at the same time, good luck with that. You're already in an ice bath playing football. Don't even try the UFC at the same time. So that's it for the Celtics news for right now. I don't have anything else to report. Everything's been pretty quiet. I know their schedule, the first couple games were announced, and I wasn't really paying much attention. So we have time before they start. Their training camp probably doesn't start till September, kind of like the Bruins. Nothing going on with them at all. So, for next week's show, though, we're getting closer to Labor Day weekend, and hockey and basketball starting up. So I think the Bruins, if they didn't have it already, I think the rookies start first, and then the veterans report. So I'll get that information for next week. And now we're going to move along. We're going to talk. What's that say? Sweep the leg. Danny says sweep the leg. Yeah, that would be funny if they actually did that in there. I would laugh. All right, now we're going to move on to the Patriots. The Patriots, in their first preseason game, had a big victory over the Washington Commanders. And I know, take it with a grain of salt, the Commanders didn't start 30 of their guys. So, it looks a lot worse than it is. And people are going to go crazy around here, a little bit, myself included. Uh, you know, Obviously, first preseason game, there's obviously good and bad. I'm going to start with the good. So, listen, this is Frank. This is about as close to positive Pete as you're going to get for right now. Because let me tell you, uh, the opening kickoff, Trevion Henderson took it to the house, 99 yards or whatever it was, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I was like, "Go, go, run, run!" She's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The game started." I'm like, "The guy's running back the opening kickoff." She's like, "They're starting already." Typical response, but he had me pumped up, and finally some excitement around here after the last few years of dismal performance from them, and it's really been a while since they've had a game breaker like a guy like this that has that kind of speed. So I was excited, and I'm still excited for what he's going to bring to them overall. So that was really good to see. As for the rest of the game itself, I thought that the first string offense with Drake May, I thought they were okay. They had their moments. They did have some good runs with Stevenson. I think that the run blocking was way better, obviously, than the pass blocking. And, Will Campbell and Jared Wilson stood out on some of the runs. So that was good to see. The passing, a little bit left to be desired. Drake made 3 of 5 for 12 yards. Not exactly what you expect. But the O-line had some issues. They did put together one drive where they got down, within, I don't know, 5 or 10 yard line, and Drake May scrambled and ran in for a touchdown. So that drive was a good drive. But Will Campbell and Jared Wilson both got beat on the left side and caused Drake May to scramble, and in the process, he fumbled the ball away trying to do too much. And those kind of plays, he looks like Mac Jones, and I hate that. And I hope he learns from it. Those are catastrophic errors that he can't have. I feel like, he kind of has like Brett Favre gunslinger mentality, but he's not at that level yet to be doing that. So he's got to eat that. He's got to take a sack. He can't be doing that during games. Too many of those last year. He should be learning already from them, and hopefully, and I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel gave him an earful. And Josh McDaniels as well, to get that stuff out of him and knock it off, because you can't win games when you're doing that. You just can't. And he knows. I mean, he's been saying it all along. He's got to cut the turnovers down and whatever, but he's not doing it. So, dude, come on, man. Get your stuff together and don't do that anymore, right? I thought the defense looked good. After that fumble, they kind of held Washington in check right there, didn't really allow too many yards, and, forced a field goal, which they ultimately missed. I thought the special teams looked better, more organized. They didn't get beat a lot. I mean, they made some plays. And so overall, you can definitely see the difference. They just look more organized. They look better at what they're doing. For the Patriots overall, too, to only have 2 penalties the whole game. I forget how many Washington had. It was like 13 or something. They had a whole boatload. Now, again, their third and fourth stringers are playing, second stringers or whatever. They had 30 guys sitting. So, you take it with a grain of salt, but still, the product looked better. It looked cleaner. We weren't seeing, false start or holding every other play with these guys like we did last year. So hopefully that will continue and stay that way. Although, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I just want to recap a little bit more of the game. Josh Dobbs, He really didn't look that good, in my opinion. He missed some open guys here and there. He was 5 of 12, 45 yards. He needs to be better. Uh, you know, again, it's the first game, first preseason game, first live bullets. So can cut him a little bit of slack, but that is not going to cut it if Drake May goes down with an injury. They definitely need better play out of him. Hopefully we'll get it. And the third string guy, Ben Woolridge, who they drafted, he looked pretty good. 9 of 12, 132 yards. He put some drives together. Overall they ran the ball good with the backups too. He had a 132 yards and a touchdown to Efton Chisholm, who continues to impress. He finished with 6 catches for 50 yards and that touchdown, 12-yard touchdown. That guy's making plays. That's a guy, and there's a lot of talk on sports radio and, people asking about if he's going to make the roster or not as an undrafted guy, or can they slip him through to the practice squad. And there's conflicting reports. Some guys think they can slip him through and he's not going to make it. Other guys are like, this could be like Braxton Berrios, where you're trying to slip him through and the Jets pick him up. Someone's going to pick him up. I'm in that camp. I don't want to see them try to slip him through to the practice squad because I don't think he's going to make it. I would prefer that they keep him and utilize him on special teams, use him as a punt returner, and use him, anywhere you need a first down, third, fourth down, whatever. He's fast enough to get open. And, there's a lot of comparisons going on with him and Julian Edelman. And again, he's not Julian Edelman, so let's not start that nonsense. But the similarities are there for him. And I just hate that sometimes they give up on guys and they try to get them to the practice squad and they don't make it. I'll use Cunningham, the quarterback we had here a couple of years ago. That's a guy that should still be here, in my opinion. If you had him, you wouldn't need Joe Milton. Or Joe Milton should still be here now. They traded him because, from what everybody's talking about is Drake May was uncomfortable with him around, this and that, blah, blah, whatever. Patriots never seem to give, well, I shouldn't say never. They did try it with Belichick a couple times. He took Rohan Davey and he took Michael Bishop, but those kind of quarterbacks don't fit what Bill was trying to do those years. So they did try it a little bit here and there, but those guys couldn't acclimate. But these guys now, I'm drawing a damn blank. Sorry. Joe Milton and the kid I mentioned that they had last year, Cunningham. Those guys, and me and Frank have talked about this. We wanted them to keep Cunningham. We didn't want to see him go to the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they already have Lamar Jackson. He's a clone. Broke all his records at Louisville. That's a guy I would have loved to have seen really get a chance here to see what he could do. And Joe Milton, same thing. I know the last game against Buffalo was like, the Buffalo wasn't trying to win and all this stuff. But kid has talent. And now you don't have him. So, I don't know. But, I think that, things. I would say things are looking up for the Patriots. And they're going to have. It's not all going to be rosy. There's going to be issues. They're going to have penalties. They're going to have things that they have to work through. I would say, from what I read, and I have some of it here, so I just can't remember it all. Between listening to multiple things on sports radio and reading multiple articles, I just kind of made some notes here. So they had joint practice. They had joint practice today for the second day with Minnesota, with the Vikings. Yesterday, I would say the practice was probably kind of even from what I heard. Drake May was 16 of 25 with like a touchdown and 1 or 2 interceptions. So, they were okay. And the practice was, listen, you're talking about Brian Flores, who's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league right now. And he's not going to give you any slack, which I think benefits the Patriots. It's the whole reason you have these joint practices, try to get like real competition. So I think that, it's going to benefit them regardless of, and it's not about winning and losing the practice of the game. It's, I'll say this because the guys I used to work with know it's all about the process. And Joe Mazzulla talks about this all the time. It's about the process. And so there is some merit in that. You have to learn from whatever mistakes are being made and continuously improve so that you can eliminate that stuff during real games. It looks like for the day 2, the Vikings had the upper hand for most of the practice. There's a note here that says an aggressive defense put the heat on Drake May. It was a pressure-filled day, plenty of red zone work, 7 for 12, 7 sacks, 4 scrambles, and 1 false start. So that's not ideal. 7 sacks, you won't win games doing that, fellas. That's definitely got to get cleaned up. And it's something we've been harping on endlessly here. We're going to keep harping on it based on what it looks like. And, it's all about improving. So, you got two rookies on the left side of the line. Not today, though. Jared Wilson was not in the lineup at left guard today. Ben Brown was. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if Jared Wilson is hurt. No one seemed to have any report on why he wasn't out there. But Ben Brown didn't look any better. Those two guys had a tough day today. And again, we've talked about it on here every football season that the O-line has to be a cohesive unit, and they've been mixed matching guys now at center and left guard all training camp long. They've been putting, Bradbury, the guy they signed from Minnesota, has been the starting center. Then they had Jared Wilson there for a game or two, but he was messing up the snaps, so they moved him over to guard, and they had Cole Strange working at center, and so I think they're still trying to work out the kinks with the combinations. The one thing I'm surprised that they have not tried yet is putting Cole Strange at left guard, which is his natural position, I believe. And that just tells me that either he's going to be a backup center or he's going to get cut because they're only going to keep so many offensive linemen, and I don't know that he's going to be one of them. So that we have to watch that. Another guy to watch, I would say, is Kyle Duggar. He's been getting reps with the second unit this whole camp. I know Vrabel made some comments earlier. I didn't get to see them. I know he made some kind of comment about it. I wonder if they're just, concerned about, having him get worn down. He's recovering from an injury from last year. Maybe they're trying to take it easy with him a little bit. And, the other thing is, too, him and Jabril Peppers both kind of play the same spot. They play in the box. And you can't have two of those kind of guys out there at the same time. You need one guy that goes in the box and one guy that drops back. That's a ball hawk. That's a speed guy that can keep up. And so Woodson, the kid they drafted, I forget what round they drafted him in, but he's been really impressive. He's been working with the first unit. And, maybe he starts and Kyle Duggar is, he ends up as a backup. But that's an expensive backup, $14 million. There's a lot of scuttlebutt about, will they release him and so forth. All right, so that flash you all just saw briefly, we're getting a thunderstorm. So if I get cut off, we'll regroup next week. So hopefully that won't happen. So we'll see. Anyway, the 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 Vikings, they did put the pressure on in the 2-minute period at the end. Drake May was sacked twice, first on first and third down, leading to a fourth and forever situation. He completed a short pass to Matt Collins, followed by a spike and a Will Campbell false start. So Will Campbell, having his issues over there, and also, Drake May threw a Hail Mary to Kayshon Boutte at the end of the practice. It wasn't enough to salvage the W as far as the winning the practice or whatever. But I mean, those two have been making some plays together, and that's definitely encouraging too. That Boutte looks like he's going to stick, and hopefully he can be a playmaker. He's a speed burner. Again, we've been talking about the Patriots having a lack of speed and lack of guys being able to get open, and so hopefully these guys can start doing something. I'm getting a weather update here. What is this now? Forgive the weather update. Yeah, I heard the thunder and I saw the flash. What about upstairs? You're gonna have to listen. I can't deal with that right now. I'm in the middle of a podcast. Sorry, folks. We got some concern about about losing power and so forth. So if it gets really bad, I'll have to cut off. But for right now, let's just keep going. It does say here, Drake May was money when given time. 2 good throws to Demario Douglas were dropped. He's been impressive in camp too. For him to have 2 drops, that's significant. You don't expect to see that. So, hopefully that's, an anomaly. Get that out of your system now. And let's not have that going forward. There's really, other than the offensive line's issues, there's really not a lot to report. So, there's a game Saturday at 1. It's an odd time for a game. And I did look at the schedule. There are actually a few games on at 1 o'clock. Usually they start at 4. So I'm a little surprised that it's on at 1. So we'll have to wait and see how they do. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. So go Patriots, and let's see what happens. All right, let's switch gears real quick. Before I possibly lose power, we'll talk about the Red Sox road trip. They went 2-4 on the road trip. They did not play well. Fortunately for them, they're still in second place. They're 5 games behind Toronto. Last week, they were 3 games behind, so they're losing a little bit of ground there. And they were in first place in the wild card. Now they're second. They're 1 game behind Seattle for first. They're a game and a half up on the Yankees. They lost 2 out of 3 to San Diego out west. The first game they won 10-2. Walker Buehler pitched a good game against Nick Pivetta, who I thought would beat the Red Sox. The old why can't we got guys like this? And Nick Pivetta proved to me in that game, at least for 1 game, why I did not want him to re-sign with the Red Sox and why I was in favor of the Red Sox re-signing Walker Buehler. Not re-signing, but signing Walker Buehler to the same money, $21 million. So for at least 1 game, Walker Buehler earned his pay, and he did a good job. And he gave up no runs. But in the other 2 games, old friend Xander Bogaerts, hit a home run in the second game and tied the game at 2. And the Red Sox went on to lose 5-4 in extra innings. The extra innings, the 1-run losses mount up for them. I think that's their 11th or 12th 1-run loss overall, which leads the major leagues. They've been struggling with that big time. The hitters couldn't get key hits when they needed, and the bullpen floundered when they needed most. I want to say Garrett Whitlock came in and gave up the winning run. He's been good for the most part, but every once in a while he's got a clunker. That was one of them. And then the next game, they had in the next game, where'd it go? I lost it, but they lost the game 6-2. They lost the game 6-2, and they couldn't get hits, and they got the pitcher for them did a good job. And Red Sox, not good for them. And then against Houston, they started off poorly. You would think that Garrett Crochet would stop the losing streak. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 5 runs. He did not pitch good. One of the few times that he has not. And hopefully he's not wearing down. I know there's a lot of talk about, this is the most innings he's ever thrown and all this other scuttlebutt. He should be able to handle it. But they lost. And, Jordan Hicks, who's been helter-skelter, he's like one good outing, one bad outing, one good outing, one bad outing. He came in after they were already down 5-2, gave up another home run, I think 2 more runs. I was happy when we first got him, but now it's like, I don't know, you don't know what you're going to get out of him every outing. He's like Jekyll and Hyde. So I'm hoping he gets his act cleaned up and gets a little more stability because they're going to need him. And if not, then get rid of him. Dump him. Do something. But you can't have this the rest of the way. You won't make the playoffs. Then game two, Dustin May. He he was acquired from the Dodgers at the deadline. He's the number 5 guy. He actually pitched a good game. He pitched 6 innings, no runs, 8 strikeouts. Didn't see that coming at all. So if they can get anything like that out of him, and I wouldn't expect 6 innings and no runs every time, but if he gave him 6 innings and 2 or 3 runs a game, and keep him in the game, that would be good. So, again, remains to be seen what he can do. And then last night in the third game of the series, Walker Buehler reverted back to his old self, and gave up 2 home runs, 4 runs overall. He pitched 6 innings, but he gave up 4 runs. They lost 4-1, and he had 4 walks, I think, and 3 strikeouts. Not good enough. And the Red Sox against I think his name is Walker for Houston. He did a number on them, 9 strikeouts. Again, get guys on base, can't get them in. Not good. The Red Sox have hit a little bit of a lull. I mean, that's those streaks they were going on when they won 10 in a row and they won 7 in a row and so forth. They were getting the clutch hits. Now they're not. Some guys are drying up. Abraham Toro at first base. He's drying up. He's in a slump bad. So they got to do something with him. They either have to, take him out of the lineup, don't put him in anymore, or do something. Give him a couple games off because he's not hitting. They catch a situation. Navarez has some kind of knee injury or knee thing. I think he played yesterday. They signed a 3rd catcher, and then they've had Connor Wong in there. Connor Wong had a good game or 2 here and there over the last 5-6 games, but he's not the answer. He's batting like 170. He has not really had a good year, so I don't want to rely on him. So hopefully Navarez can stay healthy, but they have to give them a little bit more credit than what I've been giving them after looking at some of these numbers. Their last 42 games, they're 26-16. They're 10 games over 500. That's a .619 winning percentage. In their last 50 games, they're 33-17. So, and I think I saw something last night where over the course of the last X amount of games, and I forget how many games it is, they're like first in runs, first in earned run average, first in ERA, starters ERA, third in bullpen ERA or whatever. I mean, they've been playing pretty well for a good month at least. Almost 2 months since the Devers trade. I think they're 37-23 or something since he got traded. So they're on pace. They're on pace for like 87 or 88 wins right now. In order for them to get to 90 wins, they have to win 24 of their last 39 games. So, that would be something if they did that. And it looks like unless the Yankees and Cleveland or some other team goes on a hot streak and complete, 10, 15 games in a row, it's looking like somewhere around 87 to 91, 92 wins will get you in the wild card. And so my prediction from earlier this year where I said they were going to win 88 games and miss the playoffs, they might actually sneak in, even if it's the third wild card. I mean, the way the teams are playing, that's the way it looks. It looks like they might sneak in. They have a pretty easy week this week coming up. They have 3 games against Miami Marlins, and they have 2 against Baltimore Orioles. Both of those teams are under 500, and they're at home all 5 games. So they technically should do well. I mean, again, we talked about this before when they lost to Chicago early in the year, and then when they beat teams like Colorado, the Reds, Washington, they got to beat these teams. This is where they're going to make up ground or lose ground. And they cannot afford to go 2-3 against these teams. So they got to snap out of it and win like 4 out of 5, or even sweep 5 in a row. I don't know that will happen, but they just can't fall behind. They can't have that. So listen, I think Roman Anthony, their record with him in the lineup is like 27-16 or something crazy like that. He tied some kind of record with Ted Williams as like the only 2 guys to have like X number of hits and X number of walks in their first like 60 games or whatever it is, 50 games. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's the real deal. He takes a lot of walks. I'm encouraged by watching him. And I'm not going to say he's Ted Williams or Wade Boggs or anything like that, but he's got a real good eye at the plate. And it's encouraging for me to see a guy that knows the strike zone for the most part. He swung at a bad pitch yesterday. He should have brought his 9-iron to the plate, swinging at a ball in the dirt. But overall, he's drawing walks. His on-base percentage is over 400. That's damn good for a rookie. So, he's injecting some life there. And I want to see it continue. And, it's good. It's good. They need him. You know what I mean? They needed an infusion somewhere, and hopefully he's going to keep providing that. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk about something else Red Sox related. We're going to talk about Red Sox cheating allegations. This story has been gaining more traction because recently, and I want to say probably a week or 2 ago, when the Red Sox played Houston at Fenway Park, Astros reliever Hector Neris purposely balked to advance a runner, and then he had an exchange with Red Sox third base coach Kyle Hudson that led to a dust-up between the teams. And so I think that he thought that the third base coach was probably relaying something to the guys on second base or to the hitter themselves. And it's not the first time this year that this has happened with the Red Sox. When they played Cleveland earlier against Terry Francona, said, Alex Cora is the best at this because the starter, the Red Sox schwacked him around, and they thought he was tipping his pitches, and then now they say, well, maybe the Red Sox were cheating, stealing signs and whatnot. And earlier in the year against California, they had an issue. First base coach Jose Flores and pitcher Tyler Anderson had a beef. Yeah, there's Detroit Tigers starting pitcher Tariq Skubal came out, made some comments, and I don't know what happened, but I think the Red Sox beat him too earlier in the year, and what he's saying is basically, without having to read everything, he's basically saying that the Red Sox coaches are getting so far outside of the box that they're supposed to stay in, that they're picking up signals and signs and they're stealing them. And he just wants to know why they're allowed to do that when they're supposed to stay in the box. Now, by rule, they're supposed to stay in the box for every pitch, but they don't. And so, his comment is like, I don't know why they have a box. They can't just be in it, because sometimes they go way up the line and way up the other line and see things you shouldn't be able to see when you're playing a game of baseball. And so I think what he's alleging is that, hey, look, they're getting so far outside that box. And I've been watching baseball for 50 years plus, and I've never seen either third base or first base coach stay in the stupid box ever, unless they were told to by the umpires. It doesn't happen. And so I don't know what kind of leeway or kind of rope the umpires give to those coaches for them to stay outside that box. But look, on one hand, I kind of agree with them. What's the box there for then if you're not staying in it? The other thing I'll say about that, though, is, it's not against the rules. Stealing signs has been going on forever, and all teams do it. It's just you're not allowed to steal the signs electronically, which, at one point, one year, the Red Sox had a camera in center field. They got caught. And then another time they had the Apple Watch thing in the dugout, and they got caught. And now there's things about tablets with everybody, and you can't get caught. So, listen, I get it, right? You're trying to get an upper edge. But what kills me is Houston, who was part of the cheating thing with Alex Cora in the dugout, when they won the World Series back in 2000, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in that time frame, banging on the trash cans and whatnot. Now all of a sudden their feathers are getting ruffled because they think the Red Sox are stealing their signs. Well, A, it's not against the rules. B, you can do it too. C, you probably are doing it too, but you just don't like the results. So it's okay when you do it, right? And it works in your favor. But when it doesn't work in your favor, you're going to cry like a freaking baby. I'm sorry, I don't have sympathy for you. Figure it out. Find a way to cheat better. I mean, that's a crappy thing to say because I don't like the cheating itself. But that rule, that's like one of those unwritten rules. Baseball has a gajillion unwritten rules. That's one of them. The sign stealing has been going on forever. It's probably still going to continue. Even if you made a rule today that says it's banned, I guarantee you some team will try it, whether it's the Red Sox, Houston, or anybody else. They're always pushing the envelope. NFL, same thing. There's teams that do stuff they try to get away with. They're trying to get an edge. And I'll just use the old Al Davis from the Raiders. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I don't think it's going to go away. Pitchers tip pitches. It's up to the pitchers not to tip. It's up to the battery to not give away the signs, what's coming, or whatever, however that works. And, there's almost no, I don't know how you can steal the sign. Like a 1 was a fastball and 2 was a curve and 3 was whatever. And you don't have that anymore because you got the stupid buzzer system with the thing in the pitcher's helmet, pitcher's hat there. So I think that the catcher has something in his hand or whatever that he I think he presses a button or whatever system they have now. It should be more difficult to pick up the signals and pick up the signs and steal them than it should be, at any other time. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know, there's always going to be some of that. It's never going to go away. And I don't think it should. The things that need to get cleaned up, the robot ump stuff that I hop on, bad calls, bad, uh, you know, balls being called strikes and strikes being called balls. That's number one on my list right now. They put the pitch clock in. I love it. I think that's the best thing they ever did. I've seen it live in Worcester. Not Worcester. I've seen it live in Pawtucket before they moved. When they first put it in, it absolutely works. It's the best thing. I don't have to sit here and watch a guy like Nomar fiddling around with his stupid gloves every freaking pitch. And he's going to sit there and say, well, it only took 8 seconds or whatever. I just saw something where he came on and was like, oh, it only took 8 seconds. Well, you know what? I don't care. I don't want you watch you stepping out of the box every pitch. No, not necessary. Stay in the damn box and hit. So I love the pitch clock. I've been hopping on it for a while. Now I'm going to keep hopping on the robot outs because that's the next thing that needs to get fixed. They're making horrible calls, and I'm not going to get into it now because I already had enough rants. But the cheating thing, look, there are things in place for no electronics, no cameras, no Apple Watch, no tablets, and I think that guys still go in the tunnel in between pitches. I've seen DH do this endlessly, go in the tunnel. What are they looking at? Is there a tablet in there? Can they watch what's being thrown? Kind of like football, right? When, Belichick would look at the thing and then throw the tablet because he got pissed off, right? And they're on the sideline. They're looking at pitches in football, right? I want to say it's illegal in baseball. I'm not 100% sure. But if it's allowed, every guy would be going in the dugout in between their at-bats to pick something up on a video. They do it in hockey now too. When they want to watch a replay or something like that, they got the tablet right there on the bench. So, if not using those, if using those things is not allowed in baseball, and you can still steal signs the old-fashioned way, I mean, even the Red Sox announcer Will Middlebrook said, "Hey, look, that's part of the game. When you can see the pitcher's grip, I mean, hide it better." I don't think any former major league players that do announcing are going to side with the guys that are whining. And I'm just going to say again, it's okay when you do it and get away with it. But when the other team, beats you to the punch, now it's not okay. So you're just a whistleblower rat. So tough. Too bad. Live with it. You got no legs to stand on as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. And I'm not saying that, it's okay to cheat or whatever. But if that rule is there, if that unwritten rule is not being enforced completely, just like the coach in the box, whatever that rule is, if they're supposed, what I would like to find the rule, and I think I'll try and do this before the next show. What's the rule and what's the punishment for not being in the box? There's obviously no punishment because they don't enforce it, right? It's not like, all right, well, you're in the box, and if you step out of that box when the bat is up, then it's an automatic strike, right? Something like that to the hitter that's up at the time. So I'd be curious to see what that rule actually states, and I'll try and find it for next week. But I don't feel bad at all for them, dealing with that. I don't think I've ever seen one of those guys be told, "Hey, get back in that box and stay there." I don't ever recall seeing that. Excuse me. I got a drink. So look, everybody's trying something. You got guys that try the extra pine tar, right, that get caught. You got guys that got caught corking their bats, right? You still got guys doing PEDs that get 80-game suspensions. That's still going on. So there's guys that are still trying stuff, and they're going to keep trying it, and as long as they get away with it, they'll do it. So there's what it is. If you think that every team, all 30 teams, and all 26 guys on all 30 teams is just a bunch of goody two shoes, plus the coaches and whatever, then you're sadly mistaken. It doesn't work that way. And again, I'm not advocating for cheating in the game. I didn't like the PED use. I don't think those guys should get in the Hall of Fame. They cheated. That's my take on that. And that's not something we talk about a lot. But, when guys like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and their names start coming up to be on the ballot, and they are now, I would not vote for them. And there are guys that say, well, you either let one of them in. If you let one of them in, you have to let them all in, or you let none of them in. And so, David Ortiz was technically on the list of 103 names at the time, blah, blah. He's in the Hall of Fame. Listen, I don't know. And it's different, too, if the guy admits it, right? It's kind of like Pete Rose not coming clean and saying he bet on baseball before having a chance to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. If he came clean right from the get-go, he might have got suspended, but he might not have been banned for life. He chose the path he chose, and now he's not in, and he should be in. There's a guy that, we can have arguments all day about this. He bet on his own team, but not as a player. So I look at the two different. I look at the player side and the manager side. As a manager, do you cheat? Yeah. So you can't induct him as a manager. But as a player, all he accomplished on the field was accomplished way before he started, gambling. So to me, he should be allowed in. Danny, yeah, Juice and Danny. Listen, I'm not in favor of that. I haven't been in favor of it. I don't like it. And those guys shouldn't be in. That's my take on it. I don't think it's something we've really covered here since we've been on for almost 3 years now. And so I would be curious to get Frank's take at some point. And now that the Hall of Fame voting was last month, induction ceremony, a few weeks ago, we missed the boat to talk about it. So maybe next year. Typical Red Sox. Maybe next year. Wait till next year. All right, I'm going to move along. Watching the time. We're going to move on to the poll questions. Where are we? Bear with me while I find the poll questions from last week. You know what? We only had one. The question was, how do you feel about Tom Brady's statue? Great job, 0. Meh, it's okay, 40%. I was hoping for something different, 40%. And it's terrible, 20%. I don't think it's terrible, but I was hoping for something different. And I've heard people's what they wanted. Some of them wanted him holding his hands on his head when they won the Super Bowl the first time. Some people wanted him holding the trophy over his head when they won the Super Bowl. Myself, and I think there were a few others that wanted him when he's running out of the tunnel and he's got the helmet on, and he's like, let's go, and he's pumping his fist in the air and whatnot. I kind of wanted something like that, but I think that would probably be too difficult. And if he's got his helmet on, you can't see his face. So, listen, I saw the statue on TV. I have yet to see it up close. I do want to get down there and see it so I can give a better take. Overall, I think it's okay. It's not what I was expecting, but he's definitely deserving, and there's no debate about that. So, I think that gives me an idea for another poll question. So I'm gonna draw something up for this week, statue related, and let's see what we get. for responses. And hopefully, and this was brought up too, that hopefully now people can finally move on from Tom Brady with the whole, induction ceremonies, the statue, and all that stuff. We're in a new season now, a new era. It's the Drake May era, and let's go. Let's move forward. Let me move on to the weekly predictions. Okay. Last week I said the Red Sox would win 4 out of 6. Wrong. It figures. I finally try to be positive about it, and they did me in. Number 2, I said Walker Buehler would crap out against San Diego and get sent to the bullpen. Wrong. The guy throws 6 shutout innings. Makes a fool out of Negative Ned. Gee, what a freaking surprise. Number 3 I had was Nick Pivetta beats the Red Sox. Why can't we get guys like this? Wrong. Again, true to form, he reverted back to his old self one more time. And let's see. Number 4, Travion Henderson gets a TD. Ding, ding, ding. Finally, I got one right again. It doesn't happen very often, but I was excited watching that, and hopefully we'll see a bunch more of them this year. And the last one I had was Patriots win. Ding, ding, ding. I got 2 this week. That's a rare occasion for me to get 2 right, so I'll take them. And now we're going to move on to this week's predictions. And so I'm trying to do more with Frank not here. So I have 5 again. And again, they're not the earth-shattering ones he wants, but they are predictions nonetheless. I say the Red Sox will win 4 of the next 5. I'll bite the bullet, and I'll be wrong again, but I'm going with that. They should beat these teams. I say the Patriots lose the game Saturday in Minnesota, even though J.J. McCarthy's not starting, and I don't know how many starters they're going to rest. I think if they do what they did on defense in these practices, it's going to be a tough day for the Patriots. Well, I had this is before I knew he wasn't playing. I said the defense was going to pick off J.J. McCarthy. I'm just going to change it to their starting QB, whoever that is, because he's not playing from what I read earlier. So I was kind of hoping he would play, but not to be. I say Travion Henderson gets another long gain, but it won't be a touchdown. He'll come out of the backfield and gain like 20 or 30 yards, maybe 40 yards. He'll have a long gain somewhere, whether it's a return or a catch out of the backfield or something. But I don't think he'll bring it to the house. Not because he doesn't have the speed. I just think that the teams are going to be better prepared for him going forward. They're gonna already know what they're looking at. And actually, I don't have 5 because I duplicated one of these. So I only have 4. And I'm going to stop there. Danny says we can help with the poll questions. Please do. Thank you. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. I'll take whatever help I can get. And I'm actually early for a change. This never happens, Frank. So I'm going to pat myself on the back. And no, I'm not going to fall out of the chair. That's the show, everybody. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your support. Thanks for voting in the polls. Be sure to catch us on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you all next week.